Hello, my name is Muhammad Zamri bin Muhammad Saad. I am from the MK3B. I want to talk about elasticity of demand. Price elasticity of demand. Definition elasticity. Elasticity is a measure of variable sensitivity to a change in another variable. Most commonly, this sensitivity is the change in price relative to change in other factors. In business and economics, elasticity refers to the degree to which individual, consumers or producers change their demands or the amount supplied in response to price or income change. Definition: price elasticity of demand. Price elasticity of demand is measurement of the change in consumption of a product in relation to a change in price. Expressed mathematically is it. Formula of price elasticity of demand. Price elasticity of demand equal percentage change in quantity demand divide percentage change in price. For example, if the price of an ice cream cone increase from 2 ringgit to 2 ringgit 20 cents and the amount to buy from 10 cones to 8 cones, then your elasticity of demand would be calculated as 10 minus 8 divide 10 multiply 100 and divide 2.20 cent minus 2 ringgit divide 2 ringgit multiply 100% and get the answer is 2. Elastic and inelastic graph. Elastic demand graph. Price change cause great change in demand. Is value more than 1 and change in demand is more than the change price. Second is inelastic graph demand. Price change cause little change in demand. Is value less than 1 and change in demand is less than the change in price. Determinant of a price elasticity of demand. First, time dimension. Demand is more elastic over longer time horizon. Second, proportion of the expenditure of a product. Demand is more elastic for goods that take up a higher proportion of our income. Habit. People habituated to a particular good, electricity will be less and vice versa.
Hello, my name is Lokman Hakim bin Shamsuddin. I'm from the MK3B and my number ID is SMK 2007-1692. And I'm gonna cover about income elasticity of demand. For the definition of income elasticity of demand, income elasticity of demand measures the relationship between the consumer's income and the demand for a certain good. It may be positive or negative, or even non-responsive for a certain product. The consumer's income and a product's demand are directly linked to each other, dissimilar to the price-demand equation. Second, the income elasticity of demand can be positive or negative, or non-responsive. For the last one, the larger the income elasticity of demand for a certain product, the greater the shift in demand there is from a change in consumer income. This is formula for income elasticity of demand. So the formula is percentage change in quantity demanded of Q divided by percentage change in income. So the Q stands for original quantity demanded, Q1 stands for new quantity demanded, while Q change in quantity demanded, Y for original income, Y1 for new income, and for the Y is change in quantity demanded. Let's go through to example of income elasticity of demand. So for the example, I choose tomato sauces. For the quantity demanded, it have 90,000 per units and it increased to 110,000 per units. For the average income, it have 5,300 ringgit and it increased to 7,300 ringgit. For change in demand, it have 30,000 per units, and for the percentage change in demand, we calculate to 30,000 per units divided by 90,000 per units, which is the answer is 33%. For the change in income, it have 3,800 ringgit. For the percentage change in income, the calculation is 3,800 ringgit divided by 5,300 ringgit, which is the answer is 72%. Lastly, using the formula for income elasticity of demand, which is percentage change in quantity demanded divided by percentage change in income. So for the percentage change in demand is 33%, and divided by percentage change in income, which is 72%, and we get 0.46. Next, we go to income elasticity, luxuries and necessities. For the luxuries income, it elasticity more than 1, but for necessities, income elasticity less than 1 but more than 0. For the luxuries, as income grows, proportionally more is spent on luxuries, and for the necessities, as income grows, proportionally less is spent on necessities. For the examples of luxuries, it have consumer goods, expensive holidays, and branded goods. The necessity example is staple groceries, which is milk, and own label goods. Interpreting income elasticity of demand. So for the most normal products, first, a rise in consumer income will result in a rise of demand. Second, a fall in consumer income will result in a fall in demand. For the extent of the change, this will vary depending on the type of product. Example is luxury or necessity. Thank you.
My name is Amzar Haris bin Muhammad Hafiz from DMK 3B. Today, I'll be presenting about price elasticity of supply. Definition: price elasticity of supply can be defined as the responsiveness of the supply of goods when there is a change in the market price of goods. The term responsiveness means the time required to respond to a particular demand. It is ensured that the time required to respond should be low as possible. The faster the time response, the better it is for the customer. This responsiveness is important when there is a change in the market price of the goods. There may be an increase or decrease in the price of goods due to unforeseeable circumstances, but it is expected that the responsiveness should be as fast as possible. Price elasticity of supply is directly proportional to the price of the goods. That means the goods have a high elasticity of supply if its supply increases with the increase in the price of goods. The elasticity of supply can be calculated by dividing the change in the supply of goods with the change in the price of the goods in the market. The elasticity of supply is mainly dependent on the price of the goods. Therefore, it is calculated using the change in the price, known as price elasticity of supply. It can be calculated by dividing the percentage in the quantity of supply of goods with the percentage change in its price. Following is the equation which can be used to calculate the elasticity of supply, which is, the formula is change of quantity supplied over change of the price. There are 5 degrees of elasticity. The first degree of elasticity is elastic supply. A small percentage of change in the price of a good will lead to a larger percentage of change in the quantity supplied. Inelastic supply is a large percentage of change in the price of a good will only affect a small percentage of change of the quantity supply. Unitary elastic supply is percentage change in price equals the percentage change in the quantity supplied. Perfectly elastic supply is an almost 0 percentage of change in price brings a very large percentage of change in the quantity supplied. Lastly, perfectly elastic supply, which is a percentage of change in price has no effect on the percentage of change in the quantity supplied. There are 5 determinants of price elasticity of supply. The first is time period. Time period is dependent on very short-term and long-term periods for goods. Second, nature of the market. Supply is more tend to elastic when a product can be selling in another market. This is because when the price of goods is falls in one market, it does not will fall in another market and will make good. The third one is perishability. Storage capacity is not the only issue. The supplier also needs to consider whether or not the goods that they hold are perishable or not. Perishable goods have a limited shelf life and the buyers know it. Fourth is availability and mobility of factors of production. When moving resources into the industry is easier, the supply curve is more elastic. And lastly, technology improvement. The improvement of technology enables producers to use the fewer resources to lower the cost of production and increase the supply.
Hello, my name is Muhammad Azman bin Raslan and I'm from the MK3B. So today I want to present to all of you the topic cross price elasticity of demand. The definition of the cross price elasticity of demand firstly is measures the sensitivity or responsiveness of the quantity demanded of one product due to a change in the price of a related product. The second is economic concept that determines how resilient the quantity demanded of one product is to increase in the value of another product. And then lastly is for the replacement products, it will become increases and positive. For the complementary product, it's negative. So this is the formula on how to calculate the cross price elasticity of demand. So the mathematically it is expressed as percent change in quantity demanded for good X divided by percent change in price of good Y. And this is the symbolically it is expressed as where EC is cross elasticity of demand, 2X is initial quantity demanded for good X, 2X change in quantity demanded of good X, Py initial price of good Y, and Py change in price of good Y. This is the three types of elasticity, which includes positive, negative, and zero. The positive is when goods are substitute of each other, then cross elasticity of demand is positive. We can look for the graph. And the negative is in case of complementary goods, cross elasticity of demand is negative. Last but not least, the zero cross elasticity of demand is zero when two goods are not related to each other.